This is not financial advice, not legal advice, for entertainment, educational purposes only. And anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. Listen, double check you're still subscribed to the channel. Double check your notifications are on. And if you hit that like button, double check it's working properly, because these criminals are doing everything in their power to suppress the channel, because they don't want more people becoming aware of all the fraud and corruption that the SEC, the DOJ, and the FBI allow to go on every single day. If you guys been paying attention to GME, you guys know there was talk about GME entering the S&P 500. It was supposed to enter the S&P 500 a long time ago, and for somehow they stopped talking about it. And I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, yo, why isn't GME in the S&P 500? Because it meets the market cap criteria. I mean, they went over 20.5 billion in June of 2025. They meet the liquidity criteria. I mean, they got massive trading volume. A lot of it is manipulated stocks. A lot of it is counterfeit shares, but they have a big trading volume and float adjusted liquidity that's outperforming a lot of companies that are actually in the S&P 500. And don't talk about the public interest and impact. GME is a symbol of market reform, retail power, and systematic flaws. Okay? And the free public float, it has a large enough float with a diverse base of investors. And of course, it has Ryan Cohen at the helm, and he can move GME into the future. And you guys know, if you follow me, that I believe GME is going to be the Berkshire Hathaway of this generation, because they are morphing into something else. They have more cash on hand than their market cap, yet the stock price doesn't run. You know why GME, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and I'm not telling you to buy, hold, or sell GME. GME is not in the S&P 500 because they are terrified that if it goes into the S&P 500, that index funds are going to start buying GME, and it could trigger a major short squeeze. And they can't afford for retail investors to make money like that. So the board or the team that makes the final determination on who should be in the S&P 500, they are being influenced by the bad actors to keep GME out of the S&P 500, because once it goes to the S&P 500, index funds would start jumping in, and it could trigger a short squeeze that would kill the naked shorters and make a lot of retail investors a lot of money. So in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I'm not telling you to buy, hold, or sell GME, but if GME wasn't majority owned by retail investors, GME would have been in the S&P 500 a long time ago. The bad actors who are naked shorting GME have control over the committee that decides who gets in the S&P 500, and they, in my opinion, are deliberately not voting GME into the S&P 500 to protect the GME naked shorters, because they are terrified that once GME gets into the S&P 500, buying by the index funds could trigger a massive short squeeze. Okay? Because in my opinion, GME has all the criteria to be in the S&P 500. They are outperforming companies that are currently in the S&P 500. And the reason they're not in there is because the bad actors know that if it's in the S&P 500, it could trigger a short squeeze when index funds start buying up. Anyway, please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Why do you think GME is not in the S&P 500? Is it to protect the naked shorters? Anyway, have a great day. God bless, and I appreciate y'all on this journey with me.